With the Mark4S frame complete, we'll now move on to building up the X-axis, ready for the extruder. The process is largely the same as the predecessor Mark IV, so on we go with the X-Carriage assembly. We start with our printed parts box and locating the X-axis and X-carriage bag. In particular, we begin the X-axis assembly with the two 3D printed parts shown here. It's these two parts that form the basis of the X-axis we'll be constructing next. Starting with the larger of the two pieces then, larger since the X-axis motor will be attached directly to this part, begin by inserting 4 M3 nuts into the 4 available holes on the back side. These nuts need to go down to the bottom of each hole. Bear in mind these parts are 3D printed, so try not to apply too much pressure since you could end up breaking the part. Instead, insert the nut and use any M3 screw on the opposite side and gently tighten, which will in turn pull the nut down into the recess for you. Of course, if you do use this method, remove the screw after the nut is in place, but you'll then have all nuts firmly down in the bottom of each recess. With these in place, it's time to install an M3 square nut into the slot in between the 4 nuts just installed. As usual, feel free to use an Allen key to clean out the recess before inserting the square nut, and using the same Allen key to push the nut down into place. Next, insert an M3x25 screw from the side and into the nut we just installed. Take care not to tighten the screw completely. Instead, keep the screw head aligned with the top surface of the printed part. Next, we need to insert 2 M3x16 screws, one into the bottom of the plastic part we're currently working on, and one on the opposite end, so from the top. These are cutting a thread into the plastic part itself, so tighten until flush with the top. Finally, still looking down from the top, we need to insert 2 M3 square nuts into these two locations. One nut slides in from the side, while the other slides in from the inner side, a little more fiddly but easily doable with the Allen key helping to push into place. Take care not to push too far and ending up damaging the part since the opposite side is also quite thin. A quick visual check from the top holes will confirm if the nuts are correctly aligned. That's our X-axis motor end part prepared, and we can now move on to the opposite X-axis idler end, which we need to prepare in a similar fashion. So with the idler in hand, proceed to install 2 M3 nuts into the back side. Again, use any M3 screw to pull the nut into place if you struggle to push it in directly, and again do not over tighten any screws when it comes to plastic parts, since they'll be easily damaged. With those in place, proceed to insert 2 M3 square nuts into the side of the part, using an Allen key to push down into place, and with a quick visual check through the corresponding holes to confirm everything is lined up correctly. Next, we insert 2 M3x16 screws, one from the bottom and one from the top, taking care to ensure it's the correct length screw of course, and finally it's the 2 M3 square nuts in the top opening, one from the outside and one from the inner opening, again taking care not to push too hard since the opposite 3D printed walls are thin and can easily be damaged with excessive force. With both X-carriage assembly end parts now prepared and with all nuts and screws in place, next we need to get our bearings installed. So our first set of bearings here, and we're specifically using the larger 55mm bearings for this step. Proceed to remove them from any packaging, before using a paper towel or cloth to wipe off any excess machine oil and grease that may be in place since manufacture. Unlike the Mark IV, these bearings come pre-lubricated from factory, so we do not need to add any additional lubrication at this point. Instead, we can move on to preparing our X-end clips. To do this, insert 2 rubber pads so that they seat into the indentations within each clip by pressing down with your finger. With one clip done, repeat the same process on the second, making sure they sit right down into the recess. Next, insert one of the bearings into the first clip, all the way as far as it can go, right up so that it rests against the lip at the opposite end. It's important to ensure the bearing is orientated so that the rows of balls on the inner side form an X when viewing in this orientation, since this will help apply even pressure once the rod is inserted. Before repeating the process to prepare the second clip with its bearing also, again ensuring an X orientation when viewing the rows of balls. With bearings ready, grab the previously prepared X-axis motor end, so the larger of the two, and proceed to slide a bearing with its clip into place, before dropping in 4 M3x30 caphead screws. Install all 4 loosely to begin with until everything is in place, and tighten down by securing each screw in a diagonal pair. Repeat the same process with the idler printed part 2, so place the bearing clip assembly into position. The main difference here is with the screw lengths. Loosely install 2 M3x30 screws into the left side, and 2 M3x18 screws into the right. Finally, tighten down in the typical diagonal pairing fashion, just so that they're nice and snug. Do not over tighten, as you could end up snapping the 3D printed plastic part. With both sections complete, we're ready to proceed to the next steps, which involve connecting these two parts together and constructing the X-axes. We start with our 3 smaller bearings. Again, these come pre-greased from factory, so all that's needed here is to wipe any excess grease from the outer surface. After which you'll need to grab a permanent marker. Holding the bearing so that you can visibly see the bottom 2 rows of balls inside, mark the top center of the bearing. This will help with orientation when we come to installation of other parts later in the build. Repeat the same process on the remaining 2 bearings. With bearings prepared, we're ready to install our first set of steel rods. You'll have 3 sets with varying lengths. For now, we want to reach for the longest set, so with these to hand, proceed to give them a quick wipe down with a paper towel in order to remove any machine oils and grease, before inserting the end of each rod end carefully into the X-axis idler, trying to keep them as straight as possible so as to not damage the 3D printed part. These need to be pushed in as far as they'll go. You'll find some viewing holes on the side of the idler where you can check to ensure the rod has been fully inserted and are touching the previously inserted screws. With those in place, slide 3 bearings onto the smooth rods, 1 bearing on the upper rod and 2 bearings on the lower. Orientation of the markings doesn't matter at the moment, but be very gentle and careful so as to not dislodge any of the small ball bearings inside. So with rod ends completely inserted into the idler and bearings correctly in place, proceed to wipe any excess grease from the rod ends, before feeding the ends through the X-axis motor assembly. Same principle as before, going in as straight as possible, and ensuring the rod ends are firmly all the way in, using the inspection holes to check the rod ends are touching the screws previously inserted. Note orientation of both rod ends here, so the bearings previously installed are on the same side as each other, and each end is facing upwards in this direction. Back to the 3D printed parts box next, and we're after the X-Carriage black coloured parts this time, as we're now ready for the X-Carriage assembly next. Another large 3D printed part, so with that to hand, proceed to insert 3 M3 square nuts into the top. These can be a little fiddly and tough to get into place, but using a small Allen key to push them down into position helps. In essence, you want them in far enough to clear the holes. Next, we want to insert another 5 M3 square nuts around the bottom, so 2 on one bottom side, 2 on the opposite bottom side, and the final directly into the bottom, far enough so that the holes line up nicely. And finally, 2 standard M3 nuts into the front side of the assembly. Again, these can be difficult to push into place, so use any of the M3 screws inserted into the opposite side to pull the nuts back into position nice and easy, remembering to remove the screws after doing so, of course. So that's all nuts now in place, and we can proceed to insert a single M3x10 caphead screw into the opposite side. The screw must protrude through the entire part so that a hex spacer can be installed on the inserted screw and tightened down into place. Notice the hex spacer will key into the correctly shaped cutout in the assembly and not rotate. We have another 2 hex spacers to install here, so feed a further 2 M3x10 screws in from the back in these locations, and attach hex spacers from the front side, securing the spacers by tightening the screws just as we did with the first spacer. We're ready to move on to the X-Carriage clip next, so with that to hand, proceed to insert 2 rubber pads into the rectangular recesses on the inside, just like we did earlier. With that prepared, we're ready to install the X-Carriage to the X-axis assembly, so begin by placing the X-Carriage assembly face down in this orientation, and place the X-axis on top so that the two bearings on the lower rod sit into the recesses towards the bottom of the X-carriage, leaving the single upper rod bearing outside of the assembly for the moment. Be careful with orientation here. You'll want the back sides of the X-axis assembly facing upwards, as in my example. Now slide both bottom bearings all the way into the pockets in the X-carriage while aligning them with the outer surface of the carriage, and rotate both bearings so that the marking we made earlier is facing downwards. This way, when raised, the rod will be resting evenly across two rows of bearings, making the movement smoother and ensuring the bearing lasts longer. With that done, cover the bearings with the X-carriage clip and secure it by using 4 M3x10 screws. Do not fully tighten the screws at this point, just enough to hold everything in place. We're going to get the X-axis motor installed next, so we'll need the X-axis motor itself, which is clearly labelled, as well as the pulley that will attach to the motor shaft. Begin by inserting a single M3x10 screw into the side of the motor plastic bracket, lining it up with the edge of the plastic protrusion. We're not tightening this screw just yet, it's only being freely inserted into place for the moment. The X-axis motor will be installed here. Notice how the motor wires are facing downwards. So flip the unit over and secure into place by inserting 3 M3x18 screws into the 3 available corners. You'll want to only slightly tighten the screws at this point since we'll be adjusting them later on, so just enough to get the motor in place for now. And to ensure we have space for adjustment later, position the screws so that they're at the inner end of the oval holes. At this point, when handling the entire assembly, you'll want to make sure the tension screw we just inserted on the X motor side doesn't fall out while handling. Next comes the motor pulley. Just like we installed the pulley on the Y-axis motor, it's the same process here. So rotate the motor shaft until the flat side is pointing out of the opening between the plastic bracket, after which we can drop the pulley into place onto the shaft, being careful to ensure it goes on teeth end facing downwards. In order to position correctly, use an Allen key across the top surface to align the pulley so it's level, before tightening the first grub screw against the flat edge of the motor shaft, followed by the second grub screw. With that completed, we'll now install the X-axis belt, so we'll need the belt itself as well as the idler pulley and the small pin. Guide the belt around the pulley, and with the pulley clamped in this way, insert it into the X-end idler plastic assembly, until the hole in the center of the pulley and the hole in the plastic align enough to insert the retaining pin, after which you can pull lightly on the belt to secure the position of the pulley. You will see the pin in the hole slide inside the part. Once the pulley is secured, the pin is not visible at all. Back on the X-carriage now, insert the upper end of the belt into the groove in the X-carriage, using an Allen key to push the end of the belt all the way inside. Once in place, the lower end of the belt can be pushed through the belt channel in the X-carriage, before guiding it around the teeth end of the motor pulley, and back across to the X-carriage. This end can now be pushed into the opposite groove in the carriage, again as far as possible using an Allen key to help. Note that the belt must not be too loose, certainly not enough to sag. With that done, we'll fine-tune tensioning a bit later, so for now we can proceed to place the upper bearing into the recess in the carriage, noting that the mark we made on the bearing earlier should be facing outwards towards you. Almost complete with the X-axis assembly now, so at this point stop and move the carriage back and forth a few times in order to check that the movement is completely smooth. Once verified, proceed to tighten the screws on the X-carriage clip that we left a little loose earlier in a diagonal fashion, so upper left, lower right, upper right, and lower left. Again, move the X-carriage several times to both sides and check the movement. It won't be completely free moving and you may feel some slight resistance due to the belt turning the motor, but otherwise it should be relatively smooth. And that's it, X-axis is now complete. Give it a quick final check to ensure all is exactly as shown here, including the orientation of the plastic end brackets, the bearing orientation, motor orientation, with the cables exiting downwards, even down to the direction and placement of the motor pulley. If all looks good, we can now proceed to the next section, the Z-axis.